friends, welcome to Homeschool Autism Life. My name is Jamie. If you are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you are not, thanks for coming back and spending time with me again. I've been trying to figure out what today's video was, and I've been contemplating an interaction I had with somebody who I didn't know very well for the last 5-6 years, but I'm getting to know better. And she said something to me that has kind of been going in my head as I tried to sort out how I felt about it and what I was thinking about it. And so I thought I would share it because it's about how we respond to people who look at us as autism parents during or while we are dealing with a difficult moment with our children. And how I've been kind of, I'm saying again, as I've been trying to, figure out how I've responded, how I think about things. And like many of you, I'm sure we have tons and tons of stories of times when people have responded very poorly to a difficult moment that we're dealing with. And I've spent a lot of time getting to the point where I'm just like, depending on what's happening and the situation and the circumstance, I either feel like this is an educational thing that I am required to do if there's time, or I choose to ignore it, understanding that they have no idea. And it is frustrating when the response is, well, you clearly are spoiling your child or not being a good parent or whatever, but sometimes there's just not the ability to explain. And so I've noticed myself getting into a habit of really kind of girding my loins. I've said in other videos, preparing to leave the house and responding in a certain way that's kind of like my armor, my shield is up. And I don't think that that's a bad thing at all. But what happened was apparently 4 years ago, this person saw me dealing with Darian in a difficult moment. And I've had difficult moments from just him being a little bit different, not wanting his boots on in the cart at Costco and people saying things, to having to drag him across town to go pick up his sisters from school. So I've had a full range of different autism instances where I've had to deal with difficult moments. This one, I think, was somewhere in between. He tends to get frustrated when he can't explain exactly what he wants, or he thinks that I am misunderstanding him, or whatever the case may be. She didn't actually explain. She didn't explain what exactly happened, only that I was in a cast because I broke my leg, and that's the only reason why I know it was 4 years ago. So the thing that I found really interesting, though, was Darian looks very typical, and so she didn't really know what was going on, didn't really comprehend that Darian was autistic and stuff like that. But she said in that moment, watching me exercise a lot of patience, in that she felt that I was somebody to look up to. And I found that so different because I wasn't expecting that. And it kind of took me back because I was like, oh, wow. Like, I've never really thought of myself in that place. I'm more like, this channel is commiserate and let's talk about it and let's open a dialogue and let's, I'll share my stories because maybe it'll help someone, not because I'm somebody to look up to, but more I've been there, I've dealt with it. I'm not the only, or you're not the only one. And there's my children. you're not the only one going through some of these things. And so just the idea of being somebody to look up to, it's shaken me a bit, because I was like, well, wow. And then 4 years ago this happened, and I'm hoping I'm hoping that I've gotten better and better at dealing with that kind of thing. But it was such a surprise to me. And so, what I've been mulling over for the last 2 weeks is how much I have gotten to that place where yeah, I don't automatically assume that they don't understand, but I assume, yeah, I do. I assume that they don't understand, or I assume that they're trying to think it through, or they're confused, but they don't have all the information, and so they can't possibly be making a positive assumption or a positive thought in this. And this lovely lady essentially told me that sometimes there are people who are looking at us dealing with those situations with kindness and with huge amounts of respect. And yeah, like, you can't get that necessarily from a look. I try to do that when I see a parent struggling in the grocery store or whatever, and I just, I try and give them that look of, I understand, I've been there, you're doing a good job. But I also know that in the midst of dealing with this panicky child or frustrated child or angry child or whatever, you're just trying to deal. You're just trying to deal, and with the least amount of embarrassment and frustration for all involved. So it was just a very interesting idea, and I wanted to share it with you guys because I think that it's an important message that we don't often hear. That a perfect stranger or somebody, like, I knew her name. I knew her name, and that's pretty much it. And she saw me deal with this situation and was like, wow, I want to be that type of parent with my kids. And I still to this day just go, wow. So I wanted to share it with you because while I know that there are going to be tons and tons of people out there who don't understand, or who stare, or who frown, or give very negative comments about how we're dealing with this, that, or the other thing, uh, there there may be a few people in that place who go, bless her heart, or I wish I could help, but I know that that's not my place, or, look at how well she's handling that, or, and they're the ones who are going to be far in the distance, not even remotely within your sphere of understanding as you're trying to deal with the problem or the issue in front of you. Um, yeah, I thought it was such an important message that I really, really, really wanted to share with you, because it's kind of shaken me, because I have always gotten to the place where I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm on my own, and I'm dealing with this on my own, and that's okay, because that's the way it is. And I have strength of character to just deal. And so when this person came to me and said that, I was just, it just surprised me so much. So I don't know if that's something that, you know, helps you, or, it, makes you look at life a little bit differently. I hope it does. I hope that, especially right now with all of the pandemic and the conspiracies and all of that, it's really nice to think that there's some people out there who are kind, and who in no way, shape, or form want to diminish the job that you've done, and actually look up to the things that you're doing, even the things that you're not even aware of. Because, like I said, this was 4 years ago, and I just find that so, earth shattering and shaking. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope that you are having a wonderful, wonderful week, and that, yeah, even during this time that you are finding just the ability to be calm and make decisions based on the best information you can possibly find in the sea of misinformation. But I hope that knowing there are people out there who don't judge you or who actually look up to you is something that makes you feel just a little bit less negative about the world today. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, friends, and we'll see you next week.